Hello, St. Lucie County students. My name is Miss Weatherall, and I am here to teach you a phonics lesson today. Our phonics lesson today is going to be phonetic skill 1, but before we get started, let's do a little bit of a review of short and long vowels. Please don't write any of this down yet. I'm going to write down some letters and some vowels. I'm also writing down abreve and macrons. So just as a review, if it's a short vowel, it's going to have a breve on it. A, E, A. If it is a long vowel, it's going to have a macron on it, and it will say its name. I, E, O, U, A. All right. So when I point to these words, I want to hear the sounds from you. K, A, K, A. I, T, U, A, You try. Perfect. So that is our review for today. When we get started on phonetic skill 1, you will need some materials. If you have a whiteboard, that would be perfect. An expo marker and an eraser, that is key. But if you do not have those items, don't worry. You can get a piece of paper, a pencil, a crayon, a pen, anything you can get your hands on. And if you have to pause it throughout the video, you can always do that to gather your material or anything that you need for our lesson today. Okay, so let's get started with phonetic skill 1. Don't write down anything on the board. All I want you to do is watch me as I teach you the skill. Okay, I'm going to write a word on the board. And I'm going to teach you the first step. It's something that's called a racetrack. Whenever you do a racetrack, you want to start at the bottom. You always go from right to left. So you're going to go from the bottom to the left, and then you're going to loop up from left to right. It's just like a racetrack. So if we had a little car here, we would drive on our racetrack just like that. Okay? You're going to hear me use that word racetrack a lot, and you need to know the racetrack from here on out. Now remember, we're not using slides anymore, so this is kind of taking its place. So our first new word that you're going to be hearing a lot is the racetrack. The second one is going to be what's called a guardian star. Say guardian star with me. Guardian star. So guardian star. We are going to prove if our vowels are short or if our vowels are long. And there's a way for us to figure that out. Because how do you know if it's short? How do you know if it's long? Well, I'm going to show you that. That is what phonetic skill 1 is. So let's get started with our first word. I wrote this word down, and you don't know if it's a short or long vowel. So we have to prove it to everyone. Is it short? Is it long? So you're going to always follow the racetrack. You're going to start from the bottom, left. Okay. You're going to put an X underneath your working vowel. Then you're going to continue your racetrack. Now you're going to loop up here, and you notice that there's a D there. That is a consonant. If you have one consonant after the vowel, it gets one guardian star. And this is how I make my guardian stars and how I taught my students. I would put a little X. I would put a little line through the X and then one more little line through it. So I'll show you one more time. An X, then put one line right down the middle and one line over, okay? I want you to try that now. Good. Now, phonetic skill 1 states if it has one guardian star, it's going to be a short vowel. It's going to have a breve above it. So over your vowel, you are going to put a little breve above it. Okay. So now that we've talked about racetracks, we've talked about guardian star, those are your two main key points for today's lesson. Okay. So I'm going to go and sound this word out. So k-id, kid. Okay. A kid can ride his bike. Okay. Let's do another one. Please don't write down anything yet. You're just watching me. This is a lot to take in. This is a huge lesson. Now remember my two things, the racetrack and the guardian star. So let's start with the racetrack. You're going to do all of your markings. When you do your markings, you move it from left to right. You start looping it around and then right to left on the top. Okay, so let's start going over here. ST, we know we're going to put an arc underneath there. Okay, we're going to continue with our racetrack, put an X underneath the working vowel. We're going to continue with our racetrack and go all the way up. And we notice that there's a consonant letter here. If there's a consonant letter and there's only one, that means it gets a guardian star. So boys and girls, we're going to put a guardian star right above that P. So try to, and I make it just like that. So phonetic skill 1 says, if you have one guardian star, that vowel is going to be short. It's going to have a brief above it. So it's going to make an ah, ah, ah. Okay. So now I'm going to sound it out. St, ah, stop. I stop at a stop sign. All right, you guys are doing great. So remember those two perfect things, okay? The racetrack and the guardian star. So here we go. We're going to do some guided practice now. We're going to do some dictation and some words. So right now what I want you to do is I want you to grab your material, if it's a whiteboard, if it's a piece of paper, okay? And we're going to start making some words. We're going to start using the guardian star and the racetrack, okay? So I'm going to write down this word, and I want you to write it down on your board. I write it nice and neat. I do all lowercase letters. Now we're going to do our racetrack. I really don't want you drawing a bunch of lines like this and beating up, okay? But I want you to keep that in your mind, that it's moving from left to right to top, right to left. Okay? So let's get started. I don't see any blends or diagraphs here, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to put an X under my working vowel. Now I'm going to continue all the way at the top, and I'm going to put what my new vocabulary word, guardian star, is, because I have one vowel and a consonant after it. Now, one guardian star, phonetic skill 1 says you put a breve above it, and you know it's going to be a short vowel. Eh, eh, eh. Now let's do dictation. I want you to put your marker down. You always get your hands up and your hands are ready. Okay. Now we always do it 2 times. I say it first, and it's like catching a ball. So when I'm going this direction, you should be the opposite of me, okay? All right. Z, e, p. Z, e, p. Good. Zip. I zip up my jacket when it is cold. Now, before we move on, I want you to keep these on your board so we can do the eraser game when we're finished. So please keep this on your board. We're gonna write down our next word. Our next word please write this word down. Please write this word down. Probably can see it a little bit better. Please write that word down. Okay. Now we have to prove. Is it a long vowel? Is it a short vowel? We have to prove it. We have to see if it's a breve or a macron. So we're gonna start our racetrack and see. Let's start our racetrack, and I'm gonna stop. I notice that I need an arc under FR. Okay. And why do I need an arc under FR? Good. Now we're gonna continue. Let's put an X under a working vowel. Okay. Now we're gonna continue. We're gonna go all the way upstairs, and I see that we have a consonant. We just have one after the vowel, so it gets one guardian star. Let's make our guardian star. Okay. So one guardian star. Is my vowel gonna be short or long? Correct. It's gonna be short. It's gonna have the breve. So do the little breve above that. Okay. Now let's get ready for dictation. Get your hands up, your markers down. Okay. And we say it 2 times. And remember to say it nice and clear, just the way I am. R, ah, g. R, ah, g. A frog fell from a tree today. Let's go on to our next one. All right, let's write this one down. Please write this one down. Remember to keep everything up. And when you're writing this down, we don't erase a bunch of things. We could just write it right next door, cross it out. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want all lowercase letters. Okay. And we want to make sure that we can see our markings. We can see our guardian star. We can see our breve. We can see our X for our working vowel. We want to make sure we can see these items. Okay. Let's start doing our racetrack now around our word. So I'm going to put an X under the I because it's a working vowel. My students used to get confused a little bit on this next part because we have a diagraph here. So make sure you put an arc underneath the diagraph. And we know the diagraph's very special. It's 2 letters, but it makes how many sounds? 1 sound. Shh, shh. And this one's really important to pay attention to because guess what? A diagraph has 1 sound. So how many guardian stars do you think it's gonna have? It has 2 letters, but it only makes 1 sound. Well, it's only gonna get 1 guardian star because it only has 1 sound. So you have to remember that. So any of your diagraphs, TH, PH, you're only gonna have 1 guardian star. So you're gonna put your guardian star right over the S or the H or in the middle. And remember, it's special because it has 2 letters, but it makes 1 sound. So phonetic skill 1 says it is gonna have that breve. Okay. So now we're gonna get ready for dictation. Put everything down, put your hands up. Okay. I go, then you go. Sh. Sh. Yay! A fish needs to swim in the water. Keep everything on your board. Don't get rid of anything yet. I want to do some more of those digraphs in there, so you're feeling a little bit better about it, okay? Let's do, this one's a very good one. This one is super hard, but I know you can do it. Please write this word down. This one is hard, but I know you can do it. Let's write it down. Okay, so here we go. Let's dig into this word. We're gonna go from left to right, top, right to left. Let's get started. GR, we know is a blend, so we're gonna put an arc underneath there. Then we're going to put an X under the A because it's a working vowel. Now here we go, we have a PH. What is a PH? Yes, it is another digraph. So let's put our arc underneath our digraph. It's two consonants, but it makes one sound. It makes a sound. It only makes one sound, so it only gets one guardian star. So let's put that one guardian star. So now we know we only have one guardian star. Let's make our vowel short, our breathe, our ah. Okay, let's get ready for dictation. I picked a hard one. Gr, ah. Gr, ah. You might have to graft a chart in math. Excellent. We're going to do one more. One more. Let's do this word. Please write down this word. Please write down this word. Okay, here we go. Let's start our racetrack. We're starting left. Oh, I see we have another WH. I had to throw another one of those in, another digraph in. Now let's put an X under the working vowel. Okay. We are doing our racetrack up here. We notice that there's one consonant, so it gets one guardian star, which means it's gonna get that breathe. Okay. Let's get ready to do our dictation. Hand up. Eh. I whip through this lesson. All right, let's get ready for the eraser game. So the only thing you need is like a tissue, maybe a cloth. If you have an older sock, don't take one of your mom's new socks. All right, and we're gonna just erase the one that I'm asking you about. So you have to be a good listener during this activity. Okay. I want you to erase a vowel in this word that has a sound. Please erase the vowel that has a sound. Okay. So graph. And if you did not erase that one, that's okay. You'd never rewrite it back up. Okay? I want you to erase a word that has an sound. Good. Okay, this one's gonna be hard. Make sure you're being a good listener. I want you to erase a word that has a ending digraph. Ending digraph. Good. Fish. Fish. Digraph is at the end of the word. I want you to erase the word that rhymes with rip. That rhymes with rip. Good. Zip. Zip. We know that rhyming words have the same ending and have different beginnings. So the last word on your board should be whip. Whip. Okay. Great job, guys, with phonetic skill 1. You're going to be doing a fluency passage, just building up your ability to just get through those words. But great job today. Bye, boys and girls.